Okay, the time is now 5:30. The date is August the 20th, 2024. We will call to order the mayor and city council meeting for the city of Statesboro. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Jimmy Kelly.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this state. We thank you for this community and all the leaders and all the people that work so hard to make it a better place. I just pray that your spirit will lead here tonight and you will lead us and guide us to make the best decisions for the whole city and just protect us in all of our ways and send us home safely. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, which is our recognitions and public presentations. Presentation A is a presentation of a proclamation recognizing September 24th as National Recovery Month. And the proclamation reads as follows. A proclamation by the mayor and city council of Statesboro, Georgia, National Recovery Month. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of America's overall health and well-being. And whereas recovery from addiction occurs every day through a variety of recovery support services and treatment programs. And whereas prevention of substance use disorder works, this treatment is effective and people recover across Georgia and around the nation. And whereas millions of people across the United States are living happy, joyous, and free in long-term recovery. And whereas the 2024 Georgia Recovers Bus Tour celebrates Georgia Recovers in communities and recognizes we are never alone on this journey through recovery. And whereas the Georgia Recovers Bus Tour will deliver over 100 overdose reversal kits to communities across Georgia to be accessible in local government buildings. And whereas education throughout communities about recovery and addiction is essential to combating the stigma and discrimination faced by many people in recovery. And whereas to help more people experience and sustain long-term recovery, the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, the Georgia Council for Recovery, and the Georgia Assembly Working Group on Addiction and Recovery invite all residents of the state of Georgia to participate in National Recovery Month. Now, therefore, I, Jonathan McCollar, Mayor of the City of Statesboro, do hereby proclaim the month of September 24th, 2024, National Recovery Month in Statesboro, and call upon the people of Statesboro to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month theme, Georgia Recovers in Communities. In witness thereof, I am hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Statesboro to be affixed this 20th day of August in the year 2023. Woo!
Okay. The mayor will
How you doing? You doing good? I'm doing good to see you. How you welcome?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, it's worth it.
So I'll do mine first. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
John, we need you to be here for this picture.
Let the record show. I'm good. Tall ladies.
So we need some now.
Yeah.
Raise them down.
Take a step back, just a little bit, yep.
There we go.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Don't let me make it.
All right, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. All right.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So happy for you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's good. All right. All right. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 4, public comments. Any public comments, Lee?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 5, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the approval of our minutes for our regular council meeting and executive session for August the 6th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 6, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 24-06-02. Horizon Home Builders requests a zoning map amendment from the R2 Townhouse Residential zoning district to the R4 High Density Residential zoning district on a portion of 39.97 acre property located on Abbey Road and East Main Street. All right, we would like to open the public hearing. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you'll give us a little insight on
Yes.
this.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Currently, the property is a 39.97 acre lot with zoning provided for townhome development. The applicant intends to amend the zoning on a small section of the property to allow for the development of a cottage court directly south of a property owned by N-Market. At this time, the proposed plan for the property shows approximately 213 townhome units, and the applicant would seek to add approximately 6 cottage units to the property. In accordance with the cottage court standards in the Unified Development Code, the cottages would require specific elements such as a central courtyard, which does not include parking, loading, or driveways. Under the instruction of the City Council, staff has worked with the applicant to update the plan, which now shows a revision with a substantial buffer from both the highway and proposed end market. And if you remember, this is an application that was tabled by the council at their August meeting, inter-August meeting. And you can see the site plan shows the proposed development. And the future land use map shows this to be an activity center, regional center. And the zoning is R2, as reflects the townhouse zoning that it currently enjoys. And the subject property is shown on the top left, the property to the east on the bottom right, the property to the south on the top left, and the property to the north on the bottom right. And if you remember, the sketch plan shows the townhome unit on this one. And then the next slide shows the proposed cottage court development. And if you remember, this was deferred by the City Council in that the end market was directly to the north, and then also we had the Veterans Memorial Parkway directly to the south. And, or I guess that's to the east actually. And so we worked with the developer, and he increased the buffers significantly. To now they're 40 feet as opposed to 20. And he now has lost, however, 1 unit, which he has agreed to the loss of. So he now has 6 cottage courts as opposed to 7, which was the original proposal. But we ended up with the buffers, which was really important, I thought. So staff does recommend approval of RZ 24-06-02. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of this zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval. All construction must be approved by the city. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on July 2nd, 2024, the commission recommended denial of this application upon a 4-3 vote. Now, of course, we've modified this application as such. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council on July 16th, 2024, the applicant voted to defer, or the council rather, voted to defer the case to the August 20th, 2024 meeting and allow staff to further review the proposed plan. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on August 6, 2024, the commission recommended approval of the revised application with staff conditions on a 7-0 vote. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Hayden Rollins with Hussey Gay Bell, and I'm here speaking on behalf of developers. I won't be long-winded because Ms. Kathy explained things great, but I'd ask that you approve our request along with staff's recommendation and the zoning commission. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, saying that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
I just have to.
Well, I just appreciate staff working with the developers and getting this increased buffer there, so hopefully it'll be better all the way around.
Those are my sentiments.
All right, if there's no further discussion by council, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 7, consideration of a motion to approve application SUV 24-06-03, Lots Creek Capital LLC requesting preliminary subdivision plat on 16.54 acres of property in order to develop a townhouse subdivision of approximately 111 units on Cypress Lake Road. Mr. Perry, if you can give us an insight on that. Okay. Okay. We've got it listed as a motion, but it's a hearing. No?
No, it's not a public hearing.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Yes, we've just changed our processes, as you know, to not have public hearings for preliminary subdivisions.
Okay.
And we talked about that at the work session. And so essentially, we're just looking for a motion on this, I believe.
Mayor, I do want to share. At the last council meeting in July, this matter came before the mayor and council, and it was that process for preliminary plat. And what we asked we asked you to table that item. We had a meeting, staff had a meeting with the developers, and we had a number of residents that did come out on, I'm sorry, I can't remember the date.
It was August the 5th.
August
Yes.
5th. We met on August the 5th, and we talked through a number of concerns. Some of the concerns, that we know that folks are concerned about the amount of traffic that may come from that development. Our staff shared with them that we recognize that is a concern, and we're talking about how we can make some improvements to that road. We also, I don't know that the ladies, I see one of the ladies that was here. One lady specifically had some concerns, and what we shared with the group that day, we have some money in our capital improvement plan specifically for that road to make some improvements, and John is back there shaking his head, and we assured them that work would get underway for the design and correction to address concern. There's some runoff issues, but also the way people navigate that road. Sometimes they come around the curve too fast and they end up in folks' yards, and so we will be working with this what's the development across the street?
Bethany.
Bethany. Bethany, the attorney for Bethany was on the phone. We talked about working with them because we're sort of tight, I think, on the right of way on one side, but Bethany has some land that we can possibly make some adjustments. And the developer was here. I think, and excuse me, I may get somebody's name wrong. I think Mr. Brandon. He was on the phone. A couple of folks could not get here. That was the night we had rain coming in, but we moved forward with the meeting. But we still had good participation, and the developers had an opportunity to present. We recognize the concerns that folks have. The development that is being that you're working on. We're asking you to approve the preliminary plat. It's the number of units that are in this development are less than what they would be allowed to have. And so I don't want to misrepresent. I thought it was a good meeting. We had good conversation going back and forth, and we did recommend that the council move forward with the preliminary plat. And Mayor, I just want to share one thing. Earlier this evening in our work session, we went through the development process with our council, and we just wanted to share. We want to ensure that people have an opportunity to have input into our developments. When people come forward for rezoning, that is the time for citizens to step forward to make sure that council takes into consideration all of your concerns before the property is rezoned. But once the council rezones that property, the preliminary plat is a legal process where we start to identify lot lines, easements, and all of that kind of stuff. And so we did recommend to our council, we had a practice of having a public hearing at the preliminary plat process. However, at that point, to have a public hearing really causes more confusion than it helps, because it gives citizens a false sense of security that at that point they can come in and impact the project. The time to have an impact on the project is during the rezoning process. You got it, and we're gonna look at how we notify people. We're gonna look. I know some of you don't like those little yellow signs. Staff is being instructed to look at different signs, the heights of signs, to make sure that when we have rezonings that are coming before council, you have plenty of notice so that you have an opportunity to have an impact. The other thing that we also said to our council is we would prefer to, and I know I have some developers in the room, we would prefer that we slow our process down than to rush our process so that citizens have an opportunity to have input. And so we don't want you to feel like that the mayor and council are not listening to you. So you have a chance at the planning board, then you have another opportunity at the city council meeting. But even at that, when we have outside developers come into our community, they say our process is pretty easy and it's pretty quick. And so sometimes it may take just time, and that's what council did in this case. They stepped back from approving the preliminary plat. But what we like to see happen is step back before they approve the zoning. Because once that zoning is in place, council is obligated to move forward with approving the plats. And so I apologize for being long-winded, but just wanted to share that with our public.
Yes, absolutely. That's one thing that I see a lot of new faces in here. We're a very transparent organization. We go above and beyond of trying to let folks know exactly what's occurring inside of the community. Not only does the staff have public hearings, but myself personally, I've had over 20 town halls since I've been there. I'm very accessible through social media, through email. I think everybody in the city got my cell phone number. But we try to be extremely transparent. I know there's been some debacles all over social media with local governments and things of that nature, but we don't operate like that. We operate in a very transparent, very professional manner, and we want to hear things. And it's not beyond this council to table a matter so that we can talk to, not only have a staff talk to council and the citizens and the developers, but to also work to bring about consensus so things can move forward in a way that everybody's on the same page. And for all of the folks that call Stakes for Home, I do want to say this. I know this is a nervous time period for a lot of folks. I recognize that it seems like change is just coming extremely fast. And what I want to tell you is that what we're seeing today, I can't speak for other governing bodies, but the city of Statesboro is ready. We've been building out the capacity in every aspect. I know a lot of folks have gotten tired of seeing orange barrels, but those orange barrels came in real handy when Debbie dropped millions of gallons of water on our community, and the city of Statesboro was not hit as bad as many communities around. And that's because we've been planning for well over a decade for instances like that. Building the infrastructure, building for public safety, building for business growth. So we're confident in the preparation that we've made. And so that's why we don't hesitate to let people know exactly what the thought processes are and how they can be a part of the decision-making process. But with that being said, I know we got an agenda that we need to get back to. So for agenda item seven, is there any input from council in regards to staff's recommendations? All right. With that being said, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations? All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, let us show that agenda item 7 has passed. And we're gonna move down to agenda item 8. And it's a public hearing in regards to Blue Farm Management. With feedback from the community, I'm gonna ask the council. I've gotten feedback from the community, and I've gotten some feedback that this may be one of those instances where we need to have a little more conversation with community members, developers, and staff and council. So I would like to ask the council to allow us to table this until the second meeting in September, until we can communicate with the parties across the board. Is there a council member willing to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, before we vote, could we just clarify, because some folks, things go so quickly, they're not caught up on what we're doing. Could we clarify, we're talking about the 714 acre annexation, and the mayor's asked us to table it, so we won't actually vote on it for a month. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sharon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
John.
Okay. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9, which is a public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application AN 24-07-04. DR Horton requests annexation of approximately 47.31 acres of property in order to develop a single-family subdivision on Lakeview Road. There's also 9B, application RZ 24-07-05. DR Horton requests a zoning map amendment from the R40 to the R6 single-family residential zoning district in order to develop a single-family subdivision on Lakeview Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you would.
Yes, thank you. Currently, the property is a vacant lot located to the south of the under-construction Fernhill Farms development. The applicant intends to construct a single-family detached subdivision on the site under the R6 zoning. There are substantial wetlands on the property, but the applicant currently shows no disturbance regarding the wetlands. the applicant may potentially increase the number of units if it is found that the property allows for additional development after the delineation of the wetlands. And you can see the site here. It's just to the south of Fernville on Lakeville Road. The site to the north has all been cleared, and this site is directly to the south as outlined in red. The future land use map will show this to be a developing neighborhood. The R40 is being requested to convert to an R6. And the subject property is shown on the top left, the property to the west on the bottom right, the property to the north on the top left, and the property to the south on the bottom right. And this is a sketch plan of their proposed development that, as I say, bumps right up to the Fernhill Farms development, and it shows an access point on Lakeville Road. Staff does recommend approval of AN 24-07-04 and RZ 24-07-05. If this petition is approved by the Mayor and City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. The applicant will be responsible for all utility extension to serve the site and must provide a utility extension plan to the Department of Public Utilities prior to acceptance of the final plat. 3, the applicant must submit a traffic impact analysis before acceptance of the final plat to ensure that appropriate right-of-way and traffic calming measures can be implemented. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, August 6, 2024, the Commission recommended approval of the application and staff conditions upon a 7-0 vote. That is my recommendation, my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good afternoon again. Hayden Rollins, Plessy Gay Bell. Kind of disappointed everybody left for my project, but this is the proposed annexation. We've got, as the layout shows, around 80 to 90 lots, depending on how the final survey comes out. We're requesting R6 zoning, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that council may have.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I did have a question. Looking at the map, the frontage, there's not really any frontage on Lakeview Road?
Yes, ma'am, there's just a small strip. It'll really be hidden behind the native vegetation and wetlands that will be preserved.
But the access will be
Off of
proposed
Lakeview Road, yes, ma'am.
off Lakeview, right next to the Fernhill.
Yes,
down there. So almost side by side. And there's an awful lot of wetlands, but of course y'all know how to work with that.
Yes, ma'am, we'll plan around that, and the good thing is, with this big storm that just came through, we know just how high that water level got.
Right. And know how important it is to have those drains.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let the record show that agenda, item 9 has passed. We'll move to agenda item 10, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2024-21, a resolution to accept the 2023 assistance to firefighters grant for the city of Statesboro, Georgia, in the amount of $40,909.09, with a 10% match in the amount of $4,090.91. These funds will be used to continue the fire department physician program. Mr. Payne.
Mayor, members of the council, I think it's the fourth year that we have been successful in getting this grant to have the physician that works directly with our firefighters. And so we recommend approval and acceptance of these funds so we can continue the program. It does require a match, and that match is a little over $4,000, but I would tell you it is money well spent, that we recommend it to you.
Thank you. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. We move down to agenda item 11, which is consideration of a motion to approve the renewal of the city of Statesboro's general liability PNC coverage to travelers in the amount of $1,138,372, and the renewal of the city's worker compensation coverage to Bitco in the amount of $556,390. These policies are for a 12-month period ending in August of 2025. Mr. Kenny, any further insight?
I can't add anything, those are large numbers, but we can't live without it.
Okay. Any discussion from council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12. Consideration of a motion to award the purchase of a new Super Crew Ford F-150 for the Public Works and Engineering Department to Meta Ford in the amount of $46,767.16. This purchase will be paid from solid waste disposal operating income. Any further on that, Mr. Kenny?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Recommend it.
Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Well, is there a motion to approve?
Yes.
All right, is there a second? Second. All those in favor? All right, we move down to agenda item 13. Consideration of a motion to award the purchase of a new regular cab Ford F-150 for the Public Utilities Department to Meta Ford in the amount of $34,959.16. This purchase will be paid from water sewer operating income. Any further, Mr. King?
No.
Saying that there is none, is there a motion to any discussion by council? All right, saying that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item 14. Consideration of a motion to award the purchase of a new Super Crew Ford F-150 for the Works and Engineering Department to Jason Lewis Ford in the amount of $49,158.16. This purchase will be paid from solid waste collection operating income. Anything further, Mr. King?
Yes, sir. Recommend it.
Seeing that there is none, is there any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We move on to agenda item 15. Consideration of a motion to award contract in the amount of $299,375 with S.A. Brown Enterprises for project ENG 122H East Jones Street sidewalk improvements. The project will be paid by 2018 T-SPLOST funds. Mr. Benny.
Mayor, members of the council, I think when you look around the city, you see lots of sidewalks going in place, and this is a continuation of that. It's a good use of T-SPLOST, and that's what people vote for it. And so we just want to continue building sidewalk and recommend it to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Benny. We're going to open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Just to amen what Mr. Penny said, and this location being near our trails is especially important to make more accessibility, more walkability in the area. So I'm glad to see it's on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that being said, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll move down to agenda item 16, which is consideration of a motion to award right-of-way and easement acquisition services to O.R. Colin and Associates LLC in the amount of $37,830 for the North Zero Sidewalk Project. Funding is provided from 2018 T-SPLOST. Mr. Penny?
Mayor and council, so in order to be able to continue our sidewalk program, we have to go in and acquire property, and so this is a contract so that we don't have staff to do it. We contract with someone to do that for us, and so we recommend approval of this contract so we can acquire the needed property we need so we can do more sidewalk work.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
My favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I know.
Number 17, consideration of a motion to award a contract to Mill Creek Construction in the amount of $1,427,395 for the FY 2024 annual resurfacing project for work based on unit prices in the contractor's bid. This project is paid for by 2024 GDOT LMIG funds and the 2023 T-SPLOST funds. Mr. Bennett.
Well, Mayor, members of the council, annually we do resurfacing. And so that's the recommendation to you. The mayor likes asphalt truck.
Yeah.
And so this will give them something to do.
Yeah.
But it's good work all over the city. And so we appreciate the LMIG funds. And then again, we appreciate our citizens approving T-SPLOST so that we can continue to resurface roads.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion by council? All right, and so we'll move on and ask for a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we'll move down to agenda item 18, consideration of a motion to award a contract to Beasley Well Drilling in the amount of $59,589.31 for repairs to well number 8 to be paid for with funds from system reserves. Mr. King.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the council, we have one of our wells that I think the motor burned out, so we need to replace it. And so we went out for bids, and this firm we believe is well qualified to do that work. So we recommend approval for this contract so we can get that well back online.
Okay, thank you, Mr. King. All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're on to agenda item 19, other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to just highlight 3 things coming up. As we know, we had to postpone one of our downtown live concerts because of the storm. And so Miss Olympia Gaines was able to reschedule it for us, and that's happening this Thursday night downtown at 7:30. So y'all plan on coming out for a fun time.
7 o'clock.
I'm sorry, 7 o'clock, excuse me. We pushed it to 7 o'clock. As when you live in a vibrant community, sometimes there's conflicting information, conflicting events going on. There's also going to be a wonderful event at the Botanic Garden that night. So get on their Facebook page or their web page to hear about the Hops and Hogs celebrations. The third thing I wanted to highlight is the Village Builders Resource Day at Pinewood Manor from 10 to 1:30. That's the last Saturday this month, so that's like the 30th, 31st. 31st. Another good thing coming up for folks to highlight.
Anything else from council? All right, seeing that there's none, I do.
Mayor?
Go ahead, John.
I would just like to say, basically you and me, you know how many hurricanes and storms we've been through, and we've weathered them all very well, and we get smarter each one. And we couldn't do it without our employees. The city is a better place because of as hard as our employees work.
Absolutely.
And talking to my neighbors who live on the Big Creek, didn't even get to their house this time because we were on top of it. Well, as we usually are. I just want to say just thank you to our employees and every first responder who helped during the storm.
Absolutely. I do want to piggyback. John kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but that's okay. And he's right. When you've done this for a while, these hurricanes, these storms, those are big deals. And so, we definitely want to give a big shout out to Public Works. They went around the city and prepped the entire city so that water could move freely and fast, and it was moving very fast through the city. I think it was about midnight. I was on West Jones Street, and the water was just moving so fast. It was just amazing to see. I want to give a big shout out to public safety, to see them out and about providing help for individuals inside and outside of the city. I think that could not have been possible if it was not for the preparation that the entire team had done. And then I want to give a big shout out to the team overall. I think it was a great call for us to hold off on turning off any water during that time period. But we had to kind of remind people that the storm was last week. But I say that in jest. But it was just absolutely amazing the work that this team did to help out not just the city but our entire community to be able to navigate a very difficult moment. I do want to give a big shout out to VOAD, the emergency response team. I had the opportunity to go out and speak to Georgia Baptist. They're staged out and what used to be former Gracewood. I forget the name of the church now. But it used to be Gracewood growing up, but they have an extensive outfit there, and they're literally going in and prepping people's homes that's been flooded for repair. So we're very fortunate and thankful that we got great people willing to serve in many different capacities. So I want to give a big shout out to the team. Is there anything else from council? All right, seeing that there's none, we'll move to city manager comments.
Well, Mayor, members of the council, I appreciate on behalf of our city employees, you recognizing the work that they do for these events. Because when they're doing that work, that means they're away from their families.
Yes.
And so we do appreciate that recognition. And think about John and his crews and how those guys, and I must say ladies, so we do have ladies too. They're out cleaning catch basins and then having to cut trees that might fall. And one of the situations that we had this time, the ground was so saturated that trees would just topple over.
Yeah.
And so that was certainly a big challenge. And I would say we also went to the Emergency Operations Center, and I want to give the county a shout out.
Yeah.
The county got hit hard.
Yeah.
And we did assist but recovery would be long.
Yeah.
And so I'll say this, I just pray that people are patient. And for someone, I lived through Hurricane Floyd in 1999, and we had 22% of our city that was underwater. And when people's homes get flooded, that recovery is a long, drawn-out process. And so we just pray for patience for those folks as they recover. But they also, the county working with GEMA, they did a great job to locate the Swiftwater Rescue Team. They located them at, I think, on Beachy Tech. And so, and that's important to have when we have these types of events that hit our community. I do want to just remind council on August the 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning, the big campus, the expansion, we're going to have the ribbon cutting. That is a great addition for downtown. And so invite, obviously the mayor and council are invited, but I also invite our city employees to take a moment, and even the public. The city, it's been almost 4 years that we received that $2 million grant. And the city put in $500,000 at some point. That private property will actually be deeded over to the city. And so we'll be bringing that to you sometime, hopefully before the end of this year. But that's a great addition to our downtown. So it means we can have more meetings in our downtown. We can use that space for training. And so it's an exciting time in our downtown community. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Now, do we have any public comments? Ms. Andy, you got you.
First of all, everybody here mostly knows me. I'm not complaining. I'm just a concerned citizen. We have discussed this water in my neighborhood before, about that Forest Street water running down. You put a little bit, say about that big, And you come along and you pave the road, this looks beautiful, but you put this sand there on the side where I live, where are open ditches there. Or when it rains or anything, all that water washes off in the ditch. All that sand washes off in the ditch. The water comes along, I ain't got nowhere to go. Half of the sewage pipe is closed up. I don't know what's going on with the ditch over there, because I don't go over there on other people's property messing with the ditch. But when it rained 2 weeks ago, a week ago or something, whenever we had this tornado, water was just running down from Forest Street in my backyard. Ran all under my carport and run everything under my carport. And we discussed this before. Where's the money that y'all supposed to be doing something about the drainage over there? I'm not complaining. I'm concerned about the people's property and stuff over there. Maybe they're not concerned, but I'm concerned because I've been over there for 50 years. And when you bring somebody in, you should check behind them and make sure it's not a worse problem than you had over there. And what they did was made it worse over there. Now I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I went out there. My backyard looked like everything in there was floating for so much water coming off of Forest Street back there. You got a little sewage pipe right there by my driveway. That sewage pipe was that far in sand. That's why the water was not going out of there. And even though all the water that was over there couldn't go out that little hole anyway. So you need to put a bigger sewage pipe there. If you're gonna go changing something else, you got to change something else, to change something else, to make something else work. Just like I told once before about out around the mall. When they first did that road out there, it was simply for 2, 3 little restaurants and stuff. You got 50 restaurants out there now, and you ain't seeing no changing of the road. This is what's happening. Y'all shift this and you shift that and shift the other thing, but you don't check your roads and see what's causing all the accidents and stuff out that way. The same way I'm trying to tell you about over there, first and last. Water gonna run in somebody's house and you're gonna be replacing floors and carpet over there. If we come another rain like we had 2 weeks ago, you watch, mark my word. If my house hadn't been built up on the foundation, it would have rained in my house the other night. But my house is built up on the foundation, it's not built on flat. That's the only thing that saved me from my clothes and stuff being ruined in my house. Now, I'm not complaining, but I am concerned about where is the money that was got to do something with the water in that neighborhood. Maybe nobody else cares, but I care, because that's the neighborhood I've been in for 50 years.
Any further public comments?
I'd like to say something. Sue Palmer, thank y'all for letting me come up. But I've spoken with y'all before about the garbage can pickup. A lot of people are getting negligent about it. I don't know how it would be to put another notice in the water bill. And, you know, the city's requiring you to remove your garbage can off the right of way. And if you're a senior or disabled, the city will provide a service to pick your garbage can up and take it back to your house.
Yeah.
A lot of people really don't know that, but maybe if you've got a lot's going on, so, and this is new to them, so maybe, and that, just getting the garbage cans off the right of way would improve the looks of the city. That's, thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Anyone else, public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a need for executive session?
Yes, personnel.
All right. Well, we'll go down to agenda item 22, which is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA-50-14-3. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.